Okay, Torah, Parshas Vayetze, page Chaf Aleph. This Maimon we learned already, but there's not too many other Maimonim to learn. Very basic Maimon. Okay, Shavti b'Shalom of Beis Avi. At the end of Yaakov Avinu's dream, he's making a condition with Hashem, and he says, "V'Shavti b'Shalom of Beis Avi." You know, you'll give me food to eat, garments to drink, and then you'll return me home to my father's home. Then, Hashem will be my God, and this stone that I made as a monument will become a house of Hashem. So he says, we need to understand, it seems that the Evan will be a Beis Elikim. Yeah, if Hashem Avaya will be Elokim, so then it will be how does the stone get to be a Beis Hashem? When Avaya will be Elokim, then the pasuk implies then Ho'even Azayis Tia Beis Elokim. So it means the stone's existence and what the stone will become is dependent if Avaya becomes Elokim or not.
Is that the stone that is in Jerusalem?
No. Now we also need to understand in just a grammatical question. Even Zeis in Hebrew is feminine. Umilis Yiyah is Lashon Zachar. It says it like this: Even Zeis Yiyah Beis Elokim. Now in Hebrew, Zeis is feminine, Yiyah is masculine. It should either say Even Azeh and then Yihya, or if it says Even Azais, it should be Tihya Beis Elokim, not Yihya. So the pasuk starts off Lashon Nekeva and ends up Lashon Zachar. So he says, now to understand all of this, we first need to understand what it says earlier in the pasuk. He came to the place. Yosef he took the stones of the place and put it around his head, and he made it as a monument. So he said, we need to understand what are these stones. There seems to be a big emphasis by Yaakov Avinu's dream about stones. He took a stone, many stones, it became one stone, and the monument, I mean, it's like a lot about the stones. What's this stone about? First, there were many stones. It says, he took from the stones. And then it says, and then they became one stone. So Rashi and Chumash, we discussed this last time by the class. Rashi and Chumash says that the stone started fighting. I want Yaakov's head on me. So Hashem made it into one stone. Here it says, Al Rebbe is saying, Yaakov made it into one stone. Because according to what?
When it refers to Hamakom, is it referring to Hashem?
In Pshat, simple meaning no. Avnei Hamokim, the stones of the place. Last year we explained, according to Chassidus, he took the stones that Hashem created the world with the letters and the whole existence of the world, and he made it from diversity, he made it into one. At the beginning of the parsha it says, before all this, it says, Vayetze Yaakov Be'ersheva v'yelech Harana. Yaakov left Be'ersheva and went to Haran. What is Yaakov? Yaakov, Chassidus explains, is Yud Akev. Okay, what does that mean? Yud Akev, which is Hamshach as Chach Me'ilah, which is the level of Yud, Lamata Mata Gam Bechinas Akvayim. Yaakov is Yud Akev. Now, Yud, we know in the Yud Ke Vav Ke, Yud is Chachma, He is Bina, and Pasuk Chayot says, right? Vav is the 6 spheres, and He is Malchus. So you have your all 10 spheres in Yud Ke Vav Ke. Yud is Chachma. Now, Chachma is Bittul, Korach Ma, it's completely a level of Elokus. What does Yaakov mean? Yud, okay, that Yaakov takes this level of Yud, this level of Chachma, the highest level of Elokus, and he brings it all the way down into the heel. Okay, that's the Aved of Yaakov. Now it says, V'zel Vayetze Yaakov Be'ersheva v'yelech Harana. What did Yaakov do? He left Be'ersheva, went to Haran. Shebchin is Yaakov, that the level of Yaakov, Hamamshich, brings down from the level of Beersheba, which is the loftiest places of Kedusha, Shelamayla Mayla, which is a very lofty level. Like it says in that about Atzilus. The Hashem and the art is one, and the Kalim of Atzilus and Hashem are one. In other words, the world Atzilus is the world of Bittul. All that you feel there is Elokus. And that level brings down Lamata Mata. The Madrega Yesa Tachteina to the lowest of levels, which is the level of Chorin that will explain Kshayivar Mitzvah Hashem. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining like this. Yaakov takes the level of Beersheba. Again, we discussed this at the class last night. Beersheba, it simply is the name of a city. Okay? But Beersheba means the well. Remember last time we learned there's a river which is overground and the well is underground. So the source of all the water comes from the underground, the well. That's the source. Beersheba, what do you mean Sheva? So Sheva, Chassidus explained what the Gemara says, the opening statement of Tanya, but the Gemara said, Mashbiyan Eiseti Tzadik Val Tirosh. Before Neshama comes into the world, it's administered an oath, be a Tzadik and not a Rosh. Okay, so the question is, the Neshama doesn't need an oath. The Neshama wants to be a Tzadik. The body isn't the problem. So what do you help by giving the Neshama an oath, be a Tzadik? Yeah, it's not his problem, the body's not letting it. So Chassidus explains, Mashbiyim doesn't, Alter Rebbe Tanya explains, Mashbiyim doesn't mean only a shvur. It comes to the word Masbiya. Fill v'chalta v'savot, right? Masbiya mean, Mashbiyan Eisi means, before the Neshama comes down into the world, is we give the Neshama the koyach, the ability, we fill it up with the ability that he could be a tzaddik and not a rasha. Because for the neshama to dominate the body, you need an extra super koiches. The godly soul is like a person. Animal soul is like a behemoth. When there's a fight between a bull and a person, the bull wins. The animal is stronger than the person. So in order for the person to overcome the nefesh shabamis, he needs additional koiches. And so this is what the pasuk says. Vayetze Yaakov Beersheva v'yelech harana. What is the aved of the neshama? The neshama goes out, meaning it's born from Beersheba, from this place, Mashbiyan Eisei, which is the loftiest levels of Kedusha. And where is it going? Into Charan, which is Charein Af Shel Mokim, where Hashem gets angry, which is the lowest of the lowest. So Yaakov is the level of Yud Akiv. And he says, that's what the pasuk says. Tzava Yeshuas Yaakov. You should command the salvation of Yaakov, meaning Yeshuas. What is Yeshuas? That's Shin Ayin Neherd and Elohim. It doesn't. It's really in the Mishnah, but there's 370 lights from above. Shin Ayin Neherd it's called. And what is Yaakov come? Tzaveh. Tzaveh, remember, means binding, connection. Yeshuas, that Yaakov. What does Yaakov Avinu do? He takes the 370 Eretz, Yeshua, the root is Shinayin. He takes the 370 Eretz from above and he connects it into the world. And that's what it says, Yeshua is. What does Yeshua mean? Yeshua means salvation. Okay? But also the word Yeshua also comes the word Shah, turning. The word, like it says in Chumash, Vayish Hashem al Hevel. When the Kayin and Hevel brought the carbon, so it says Vayish Hashem. Rashi says he turned to Hevel, meaning he accepted Hevel's carbon. Kayin lo Shah, because Kayin brought junk and Hevel brought good stuff, right? So the word Shah means a turn, not only salvation. That's how you define the mission Pirkei Avos when it says Yafes Shah Achas B'Tshuva Ma'asim Tevim. Yeah. So simply you translate 1 hour of Tshuva Ma'asim. It doesn't mean turn hour. We're talking about time. In 59 minutes, not. Shah Achas B'Tshuva means a Jew turns, gives a turn to tshuva ma'asim tevim, so that's better than the whole Olam Haba. So sure, the concept of Yish Hashem, Tzavi Yeshuas Yaakov means the turning of Hashem, meaning, Shubachin Yisiri, Desvam Shachas Eri Yisbarach Lamata Mata, the bringing Elokus down. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining like this. What is the level of Yaakov? He's just quoting all these different aspects of it. Yaakov is bringing the Yud into Akev. The highest level, which is Savi Yeshuas Yaakov. Yaakov takes the Shin Ayin Nahirin from above, okay? And then he brings it down into the level of Yaakov. So Yaakov is mechaber and makes the level of Elokus turn from high, meaning removed from world, and he brings it down into the world.
Is that why you say that Yaakov Avinu was the Bachar?
Bechir Shabbat is, well, simply because all his kids were tzaddikim.
Right.
And he's Teferes, whatever.
I'm saying to bring such a high level.
Yes. But the problem is like this. We learned already many times, evil also has to exist from Hashem. Right? So how in the world does evil come from Hashem? Hashem is good, the essence of good.
Right.
All of a sudden, it comes down, it comes into the Lovans and the Esavs and the Shoshkips Atmeis and the, non-kosher things and all that. So the answer is, what the Alter Rebbe is saying now is, Elokus comes down, it's limited to the extent, it gets so limited, there is no Kedusha left anymore. What do you mean there's no Kedusha? There's no visible Kedusha. The simple mashal for this is, you have a bulb, a very strong light on the table. Yeah, it shines light. You cover it, it shines less. You put 30 covers over it, you can't even tell there's a light anymore. That doesn't mean the light is not there. It means the light is not visible because it's covered so much. Evil is an extension, Hashem Einaid Mulvadei, right? Less as upon him, and there's no place void of Hashem. Even the worst level of evil is existing from Hashem. How could it be evil? So the answer is, there's many what's called tzimtzum, there's many contractions and concealments and limitations, to such an extent it becomes evil. Becomes evil, keeps going down. So he says, what happens when it comes called kaput tzimtzum rabin? At Sheba lamata, to the extent that this level of kedusha can come down into chodam, then it becomes alma de pru de lagami, a world of separation completely, like it says, nor Vayetze me'eden, which is chochmi la, to water the gan, and then the pasuk continues in Bereshis, umisham yipared, from there it spreads out. Now what does the pasuk say at the beginning of Bereshis? The river came out from Eden to water the gan, and then misham yipared, and then it split, it divided. Pirud is the opposite of Achdus. So Kedusha originates, nor Vayetze me'eden, there's one Kedusha, one Einaid Mulvadei, and then it comes down, and then it comes Pirud, into Bria, Yetzira, Asiyah, more. So what did Yaakov Avinu want to do? Yaakov Avinu's Aveda was, Yaakov wanted to take this world of Pirud and make it into Kedusha, make it into Achdus, make it into one. Gam lamata bechinis yichud ubitul mamish k'mashul l'mayla mechayoy v'gamer echad. So this is what Yaakov Avinu wanted to do. So the Alter Rebbe is going to explain like this. Let me say it outside before we see it inside. Yaakov took Avnei Hamakim. He's going to explain Avonim are letters. Sefer Yetzirah says the world was created, basically he calls the letters Avonim. And he says like this, 2 stones, we learned this recently, 2 stones make 2 words. You have 2 letters, Aleph, Beis, so you can make Aleph, Beis, Beis, Aleph. You have 3 stones, you have Aleph, Beis, Gimel, you can make 6 combinations. You have 22 letters, you can make whatever, billions and whatever the combination of letters that you can make. So Yaakov Avinu, what did he do? He took Avnei Hamakim, meaning the world of Pirud that Hashem created, a world of separation, a world of Elokim, of concealment, Bereshit bara Elokim. And what did he do with it? He made it one stone. Evan eshasamti matzeva, and that Evan means the letters, right? And that's where the word Hamakim here comes in. He took the Avnei Hamakim, means the letters that Hashem created this world of Pirud with, separation, diversity, pluralism, lack of Einoid Movadei, and he made it into one stone, and then he made it even into a matzeva. So what is the Aveda of Yaakov Avinu? Yaakov Avinu's Aveda is to take pluralism and make it into one. You said last night there on the coin that the Latin, pluribus, whatever that is, which means to make for many one.
Opposite of Torah.
Opposite of Kerach, which creates Pirud. Yes. And that's the Aveda of Yaakov Avinu. And that's the Aveda of the Yaakov Avinu, what represents, again, the pasuk on the personal level, it means the neshama comes out of Beersheba, from the place of Mashbi and Isai. Neshama comes into Charan. What's the Aveda of the Jew in the world? To make the world godly. So when you take diversity of world and you do mitzvahs with it, or b'chol d'rachecha da'ehu, in all your ways, meaning not mitzvahs, business, eating, you should also know Hashem. So the Aveda of the Jew is to take from Pirud, the Avnei, and make it into one. That's the Aveda of the Jew. And then, Beersheba. Or as it says in last week's parsha, Yitzchak gave him a bracha. In other words, before Yaakov Avinu was able to build Klal Yisrael, he needed V'yiton l'cho Elokim. And like we learned the other week, it was such a great bracha, couldn't come normally. Couldn't come normal, just going. You had to take it away from Esav. It was too great to come normal. So he says, Kine Naida, what does it mean? Okay, I'm saying, I just said this outside. But it's known, Avonim Nikraisis. Stones are called letters. Like it says in Sefer Yetzirah, Shtei Avonim Beinu Shtei Batim, Sholosh Avonim Beinu Shisha Batim. Liyeis Kamei Shemi Avonim Harbe. What's the connection between letters and stones? So he says, just like from many stones, you make a house, okay, that you can live in, and then many houses make a block, and many blocks make a neighborhood. Neighborhoods make a city, state, universe. The same thing, a few letters make a word, a few words make a sentence, sentence makes a paragraph, just think that's like stones with houses. Kamei Keme'ez, he is harbi. Nasa Tevis becomes word, Shebehem is Slabishas HaSeichel. By the way, this is the same concept of what the Baal Shem Tov said by the Mabul. How does a Jew protect himself from the flood waters of the world that want to extinguish us? Be'elat Teva. The Baal Shem Tov said Teva doesn't mean only the Arak, it means words. Be'elat Teva, go into the words of Torah, the words of Tefillah, Avnei Hamakim, and then you'll be protected. And he says, Gam Kamei Shamavanim Ein Daimim. Just like stones are inanimate, which is the lowest of all four inanimate, plant, animal, and human. The same thing, letters themselves don't mean anything. Letters themselves you want to bring out an intellectual concept, you can't just put letters in different places. They have to be joined together, right? As separate is like a stone. You can't build a house with a stone, right? It's inanimate, you can't do anything with it. So the same thing, letters, the Gabi Seichel Lobish and Daimim Betachlis. There is no connection to Seichel whatsoever. Nims and moving Mikola now. So it's from this it's understood Sha'avanim Nikra Asis. That stones are called letters, and that's the Kavekenu Lamaila. So it is not only down here, but up there in the spiritual realm, it's the same thing. What does it mean? Ksiv. Pasuk says, "Bidvar Hashem Shemayim Nasu," until him, right? With the word of Hashem, the heavens were made. And it said, Malchus Chamalchus Kol Elamim. Malchus is the source of all worlds. Pirush Chayes Kol Elam Shina Elam Esadin Ketz. The infinite world, like it says, Ayesh Mus Belugduda. Is there a number of his troops? Nevertheless, even though there's infinite amount of worlds, Shayrish V'Chayusim is only from the level of Malchus, which is Devar Havaya, which is Mechayim Ahava Esim, that gives them existence and life. Me'ayin Liyesh Tamid, constantly, because Liyeshem Nivroim Baligvul, because in order for an infinite power of Hashem to create a finite being, you can't have infinite revealing itself as infinite, because then you can't create a finite being. So Hashem has to conceal himself and make from the finite, infinite level, a finite level of Elokus. That's the concept of Tzimtzum Rishon. And then you're able to give existence to the worlds.
Well, how can you say Malchut is
The lowest.
the source? What is saying source?
The source. But Malchus from all the spheres is the lowest and the last.
Yeah, but you say you don't have no existence of itself, so how can it be the source? The source comes from the top.
Malchus, yeah, correct. But Malchus gets from the higher 9 spheres.
But Malchus creates.
Malchus of Chesed becomes Chesed of Malchus. Malchus of Gvura becomes Gvura of Malchus. In other words, they donate. The higher, just like, where do you see this clearly? David HaMelech, the Medrash says, was supposed to be Bar Nafla. David HaMelech was supposed to be born, stillborn. The Medrash. Hashem came to Adam Rishon. There's different opinions, but the most accepted opinion, the well-known opinion is, Hashem came to Adam Rishon, and he said, I have a stillborn, would you like to donate some life? So this is what the Medrash says. Adam Rishon said, Yemeshin Eseinu Bohem Shivim Shana, I will donate 70 years. That's why Adam Rishon lived 930, and David HaMelech died at 70. Where did he get the 70 years from? From Adam Rishon. Another thing it says he got it from the office. There's also 70 years from what they should have lived, what they lived. But that's, so Chassidus explains this, Pnimis Achais, Chsenis Achais. But normally, David HaMelech had nothing of his own. Why? Because David is Malchus. And Malchus, the expression is, less la migamarkum, has nothing of its own. That's why the moon is Malchus. The moon has no light of its own. It only gets the light that it reflects from the sun. Right? Malchus is the receiver. So yeah, Malchus is nothing of its own. Therefore, Malchus is the ultimate level of bittul, because nothing of its own. And that's why it's able to receive from all the higher spheres.
Why do we say source? Source means like...
Now, Malchus is speech. B'dvar melech shilting, the Gemara says. The Pasuk says. A king rules with speech. Right? A king doesn't go out all over the place. King sits in the palace and gives orders. Okay? But the pasuk bidvar melech, with the word of the king, shiltain. He's the shalit. He rules the country. So Malchus is the level of speech.
But yeah, without Malchus we have nothing.
Correct. No Malchus, no world. No nothing. Not only the physical, you don't have the spiritual worlds either.
But Malchut of Atzilut is the highest level of Bria.
Malchus Atzilus is higher than Bria.
Why did Hashem have to go to Adam? How come Hashem didn't give it himself? Yeah, Hashem could.
Because the level of Malchus is nothing of its own. That's the attribute. Somebody had to give him.
Nobody wants to do it anymore.
Huh?
Nobody wants to do it.
No, nobody would do it. Don't worry about it.
Doesn't Malchut of Atzilut give to the Bria?
Yeah, it becomes the crown of Bria.
Is the link to Bria.
Yeah.
So it's giving.
Malchus is the receiver, and then it becomes the giver. But what it has, it only receives from higher, and then it gives.
But then he says source. Source means like...
It receives from higher.
A student learns from the teacher,
Yes.
So he's receiving,
Yes.
and then he teaches.
Right. The
No.
lower level.
Is the seed malchus or the ground?
The yam is malchus, ground is malchus, earth is malchus, women are malchus, the moon is malchus. There's a lot of different levels of malchus.
One is enough.
Malchus.
But we learned that source means giver, like from
So malchus becomes the source of bria.
that.
Malchus the bria becomes the source of yitzida, and so on. Thank you. What would I do without you? Just like the world wouldn't exist without malchus, we couldn't exist without you. So he said, because the world is limited, like it says, the earth to the rakia is going to 500 years and so on. And therefore, comparison to the infinite level of Hashem, there's no connection. Therefore, they can't receive. How could limited world receive their chayis from infinite kedusha? It has to go through a tzimtzum. It has to be Devar Hashem. Speech, by the way, is a power of limitation. Somebody has an intellectual concept, yeah? In order to limit it in a way that people will understand it, you have to speak it. Right? Or the same thing, you have an emotion of love. Okay? So how do you reveal that level of love? You say, I love you. But that is a limitation of compared to the actual midah of love.
Shkoach to love.
Shkoach to hakachaynik.